A source inside the Justice Department has said that Chelsea Manning has apparently been placed on the short list for possible sentence commutation by President Obama before he leaves office. And so, after years of imprisonment, including the vast majority of that being solitary confinement, she could theoretically actually be released. Now, in response to this news coming out from, I believe it was NBC News late yesterday, Edward Snowden tweeted this: "Mr. President, if you grant only one act of clemency as you exit the White House, please free Chelsea Manning. You alone can save her life." Now, in response to the situation that has happened, actually, I want to read a quote after the sentencing, where Chelsea Manning was given 35 years for her role as a whistleblower. This is the defense lawyer, David Coombs, who said, "After this case, I had to tell Chelsea, I've represented murderers, I've represented rapists, I've represented child molesters, and none of them received 35 years.
Yeah, it was insane. Americans are supposed to have the right to a fair and speedy trial. That was not the case with Chelsea Manning. Chelsea Manning was held in solitary confinement for a long period of time, and the trial was not speedy. It did not start quickly. And the idea that someone could see that those in positions of power or members of our military could be doing something that is against the law or unethical, and then they go and they leak that information and then have to deal with a 35-year sentence as a result of that after being tortured in solitary confinement for a long time. It's scary. It's scary. And essentially what it does is it tries to censor anyone who ever has the audacity to speak truth to power. Right? Because if you do it in any way that might be labeled as espionage or in any way that might be seen as you being a traitor to the country, you could be dealt with in this exact same way. And it's scary to consider that precedent when you now have someone like Donald Trump as our president-elect.
Yeah, when you set up that philosophical foundation for things someone even more authoritarian could potentially act on in the future.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So I think that it would be a bold move for President Obama to do it. As we know, especially over the last few months, he's been doing a bunch of executive orders that are awesome, including creating more monuments throughout the United States to protect land and to ensure that people aren't mining and raping those lands of its resources.
To stop drilling in multiple areas off the Atlantic coast and the Arctic. Yeah, and look, and previously, those sorts of moves that he's made have even been in this area. I mean, he's done a couple of different times massive commutations of sentences, including the most in one day for any president ever. We know that he wants a legacy. We know that he feels in some way freed up to do what he actually thinks is right, apparently. This is an easy win for you. You can do this. Presidents commute sentences at the end of their terms. That's what's done. And by the way, if you're a Republican, if you're a conservative who is just pissed off at Chelsea Manning and you think, well, there had to be justice. Okay, it's not about whether serve 35 years or you were let off. It's been 3.5, 4 years now, mostly in solitary confinement. That is, for most people, unimaginable how horrific that experience would be. So if you wanted blood, you got blood. Now, let's set her free. It might literally save her life based on some of the reports that have been coming out over the past few months. So, President Obama, please do the right thing.
We are the watchers on the wall. We are the sword in the darkness. Come join us. tytnetwork.com/join.